fucking May, guys. Or I guess it was May a week ago.
I was gonna say
I don't know what the fuck that
May a
means.
week ago.
Dude, I've lost so
Oh.
much track of time. It's unbelievable.
Oh man! All right, guys. Well, welcome to the botched intro of According to Low Elo. We got some patch
Say
notes.
something aside from welcome, because I gotta say some dumb shit every once in a while.
That's okay. That's okay. We got patch notes this week, guys. They're interesting, but we have a lot, so we're just gonna get straight into it.
Yeah, we have a lot of
Responses,
write-ins
yes.
coming in, so this is pretty good. We're gonna start off with our first. We had another audio call in.
Yes, we did.
And this is from Sean Stewart, and let's take a listen.
Hey guys, my question is, how did you guys start playing League of Legends, and what caused you to start playing it?
All right, so when did we start playing? It was the end of 2013, because Season 4 was about to start.
Yeah. Yep.
Like December. It was the very end of preseason, or the very end of preseason Season 4.
It was, I think, Jinx had just been released, and then Yasuo immediately after, I think, if I remember correctly.
I think when
I remember Yasuo
the
being
first
on the
champion, I remember being released was Vel'Koz.
Okay, let me see. Yasuo was released, yep, December of 2013. So yeah, Yasuo would have just been released, and then Vel'Koz in February of 2014. Yep. So yeah, there you go. Okay. Sometime between... You know what it would have been? It would have been January of 2014, because I didn't have a job at that point.
I just remember playing around Christmas.
Yep. That was all that off time and whatnot. But I had been hearing about the game on social medias from people that I followed that I don't even think I follow anymore, or that I went to school with or whatever, who had been talking about this game, and I just kept seeing it and kept seeing it and kept seeing it. I'm like, what is everybody talking about? Like, what is this game? And so I downloaded it, and I told Dean over here to download it, because like, don't let me do this by myself, because I don't know what we're doing. And that was, the rest is pretty much history. I think we walked around wondering what the fuck we were doing for a very long time, and now here we are. We still don't know what the fuck we're doing. So it's been 8 years of not knowing what the hell we're doing.
Yeah, man. I remember getting frustrated. We were playing bot games, and I was getting frustrated.
I remember we couldn't beat intermediate bots, dude.
I don't even think I could beat intro bots. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, and we still don't know how to play the game, so there's that.
Yeah, we early on, I remember we weren't. I don't know. Like back in the day, we used to play Call of Duty like every fucking day, all day.
Yeah.
This was like we would play once in a while, but then it became like the game, and yeah, the rest is history. And
that was actually this game is what killed me playing shooters, first-person shooters. I no longer care. I've tried playing some of the newer ones like Valorant, and I tried to play Overwatch, and Overwatch was cool for a little bit. I just don't care for shooters anymore. I don't know.
Hey man, Overwatch 2 is coming out.
I know. Still don't know what the difference is of that game. But hey, so that's when and how and why also in there somewhere. You could put the dots together, dude.
Yeah, no one really knows why we still play this game, or how we play this game.
That might be the better question, Sean, is why we still play this game, but here we are. The entire community is wondering the same thing, so when you find an answer, let me know.
Yeah, Sean, thank you so much from calling in.
Yeah, that's a call.
New Zealand, that's fucking awesome.
That is awesome.
We're global, according to Elo global.
Remember when we first started, we had that one dude in Poland watching on YouTube.
That's right. That was cool.
I don't know where that guy went, but shouts out to that dude from Poland.
Shout out. All right, guys, we're gonna go over the Q&A from last week's episode 50, and the question was, how have you been feeling about the Swain changes? And I guess we were saying his name wrong because we thought it was Mayo, but he says it's pronounced Mayo.
Mayo, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so he wrote in and said, or she, I shouldn't say that. I didn't play him before. He seems pretty sick. I like drain tanks, just gotta play him more. Trundle will still be top tier in my books. Also my okay. Drain Taints are interesting. I mean, aside from Trundle and Swain, what else we got?
I
I mean,
don't know. Are there really any other drain tanks?
I mean, well, first of all, just is Swain a drain tank, I guess, right? Or but
Sort of.
Trundle is like
Trundle's more
like-
of a drain bruiser, drain tank. I see. There's not really like a good drain tank archetype in the game, and I think it's because it would be far too reliant on healing and whatnot, in the lifesteal mechanic, which is just getting fucking shellacked right now. But I see where you're going with it. That's what I've been calling it, because you're just like, as Swain and as Trundle, you're not really stacking resistances. You're more or less stacking health, because you want to be able to heal your missing health and whatnot. So yeah, you might have a few items with resistances, like an hourglass, or Trundle may have a stone plate, maybe, but he probably doesn't. He probably has off-tank bruiser style items, which are health stackers and not resistance stackers. But yeah, I think, and this is the new tech that has come out just in the past couple days, and Dean was telling me about this yesterday, and he did it yesterday. It's fucking disgusting. Is Moonstone Swain. You just don't die. You just don't. Moonstone into Spirit Visage, right?
Yeah, that's what I did.
You just don't. And with Conqueror.
Yeah, so I was trying to. My goal was to get the finished Seraph's Embrace third item, just have even more healing.
Yep.
But I mean, I think I went like 0-4 in the early game. I was playing top lane Swain and Rush Moonstone. I didn't really do anything. You don't, obviously Moonstone doesn't have that much damage. It's more utility.
Right.
But once I got Spirit Visage,
It was just, you joined
Moonstone?
one team fight after having dealt no damage. You joined one team fight and the whole game turned around.
Maybe I can get the clip and we can put it on the Instagram, but
Yeah.
we at the end of the game, we were in the enemy base. I was in alt for about a minute and 15 seconds and just I would not die.
Legit, he was.
Two items.
And what was it? Oh, I was playing Zillion. That's right. I was just making you run fast, because the infinite ulti is fucking broken.
It was ridiculous.
It really was.
That's what I said to him. I was like, that shit spiked so hard
Yeah.
on two items. It was unbelievable. Well, yeah, I'll record the clip and then Tyler, you can upload it to the Instagram just to
I gotta
show everybody.
Yeah, you gotta make it fast forward, because I don't think anybody wants to watch the whole thing of a full minute.
Right.
And also, it's a really big file. But yeah, well, I'll get it up on the Instagram. You guys are gonna laugh and be like, "Oh my god, this tech is fucking stupid."
People are gonna think you're trolling if you try it, but just
Seriously. And our boy Joa wrote in. He said, Swain feels just better to play now, but he still feels a bit uncanny between damage and tankiness. And I will agree with you. I will say he fits the mold more of an AP bruiser now than he did before, if that makes any sense.
yeah.
He doesn't deal as much damage. He's not a bruiser in the sense of somebody like a Darius or like a Gwen. He deals less damage. He resides more on the tankier side, but he's a team fighter. And a lot of the bruisers aren't team fighters. I mean, aside from like Alawi, a lot of those bruisers are skirmishers, right? They fight 2v2s, 3v3s, but they don't always do too well in a 5v5 because their setup is poor. Swain is the opposite. Swain can do very well in a 5v5. He's got his E-pull. He has his ulti where he can just be right in the middle and just start casting on everybody and just letting it rip, for this lack of a better phrase, because that's the best way I could think of. So yeah, I would say he's closer to the tankier side, but his damage definitely ramps up as you get later in the game. But yeah, thanks for writing in, Joe.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Go try the Moonstone. It's insane.
It's fucking great. Like, we might be borderline permabanning that if you're not playing it. Like, I think it's got to be 100% pick ban, because what do you do? It's like playing against Scion almost. Like, what do you do? He just wants to die and beat the shit out of you anyways.
I'd have to go back. I can't remember if the enemy team had grievous wounds. Maybe they didn't.
They might not have.
That would have been a factor. So
Right.
I don't know. But again, you'll see the clip.
It's fucking gross.
It's insane. Guys, thanks for writing in for that. Our poll from last week was, after hearing these upcoming changes, which were the Olaf and Talia, which champions are you most hyped for? And we threw in a third option of Belveth.
Yep.
Right? Belveth, the new Void champion, and that one with 43%. I guess that makes sense. You're always hyped for new champions.
Right. It was pretty split, though. I mean, for those that didn't vote Belveth, you guys split between Talia and Olaf. And I think that's important. I mean, I personally voted for Talia myself because I do think her new kit, much like Swain's, is going to be very interesting in how it plays. And I think that we may be misperceiving the numbers and the scaling versus how it's actually going to play out. So I'm more excited for that than Olaf. I am excited for Belveth, obviously, but I just felt like that was a cop-out answer, so I didn't want to answer that way.
All right, and then on Friday's episode, we had a like a free submission, ask us whatever for our Q&A. And a few of you guys wrote in. Mayo wrote in and said, which champions do y'all want to see get visual updates, and which do you think need reworks, like more so that with their kits? Mine, I think Shyvana on visuals, and for a rework, I would give it to Master Yi. I think I'll agree with Shyvana. I think Shyvana just needs everything.
Right.
Everything, because it just the fact that her whole kit revolves around her hitting level 6 and ulting and just using her E is not healthy for the game.
That's just not healthy for the chance. It's a very boring play style. Like, oh, here we go.
Master Yi, I guess Master Yi could. He's like I don't know. I feel like he's fine just because he's like a swordsman and just runs in, right, and just whoops your ass. I don't like when Dustblade Yi is a thing. Like, I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
And I know they've been nerfing that, right? But it's
still relevant.
Sure. I don't...
It's just the invisibility. It's not even the damage. It's the invisibility of getting out of Alpha Strike and being able to reposition for
I think
free.
it's just Alpha Strike in general.
Right. I mean, that's really the whole thing. But I think the Dustblade works because you can get out of Alpha Strike and reposition really at no cost. Who would you give a visual
champions? To, yeah, Shyvana was the big one.
Shyvana's yeah, for sure is the one that needs a kit. Absolutely. But if you just need like a visual, I'd go Zillion. I think Zillion really badly needs a visual. First off, all of his splash arts are fucking horrible, except for Blood Moon, because it's the most... Blood Moon, dude, the sugar one is nasty. Like, what does he do with his lips in that one? The Blood Moon one's the only one that's, like, cool looking. The rest of them are, like, really bad, and then his in-game model is poor. It just needs... It needs something, I'm not sure. I would almost say he needs a kit update, but his kit still remains relevant for what he wants to do for the most part, so I can't hate on it. I think there's other champions that are far more in need of a kit update than Zilly.
Yeah, I think it's just Shyvana. That's the only one I can really think of.
Yeah.
I'm just like running through the list really quick. I mean, you can go back and think of the super. Maybe Corki. Corki could use something. Like visually?
Visually, yeah. I can see that.
Corki's I guess anything that's like super old. Gragas, no. Graves, fine. Gwen, no. Heimer? Heimer could be updated. You know, I think
they did a visual update on Heimer, though. That's what I'm trying to think of champions they haven't done one to. I think Zillion's the only one in that list that hasn't really got a visual, because Udyr's getting a full-on everything. Aatrox's got a full-on everything.
Oh, Malphite. I think Malphite has pizza feet, no?
Does he? I don't know.
Well, I'm just gonna assume he does because he's so old. Malphite would be a good one. That dude, yeah, he needs... he doesn't have pizza feet. He's kind of got, like, almost pizza feet.
Right. Well, you remember when they redid his splash or whatever, and it was so wildly different. Because you go back and look at his fucking at the Shamrock, and it's so bad. But yeah, he could use a little bit.
He's just, again, he's kind of another champion. It's just like, oh, I'm just gonna hit R and then I'm kind of useless.
It's very one-dimensional. His kit, if anything, needs work.
He doesn't feel like like in lore, he's like a mountain, right?
He
Like
does
he just
not
doesn't
feel that
feel
big.
like a. Obviously, you're not gonna be able to get away with that in
Right.
Summoner's Rift, but like, come on, make me feel like it's a fucking giant.
I don't know. Ornn and Cho'Gath, I think, actually outsize him in terms of unit model. So that there might be something to be said there. But
That too.
all right. If anybody else wants to answer that one, I like that question. That's a good one. um, and we had Joe in again. He said, "What are your 3 favorite play fantasies?" As Riot likes to call them. My faves are Rammus with his hilarious late game thorn damage, and Fizz with his stupid one shot slippery gameplay completed with Zhonya's. Yeah, fuck Fizz when he gets to that level with Zhonya's and he's just bouncing around like a little, I don't know what he
Bitch.
is, little bastard.
Yeah.
It's like, get your ass over here. But when you're playing that champion and you're able to do that, that's pretty fun. Like the old Civ HD video of him playing LeBlanc and just fucking getting everybody juked in the bushes with LeBlanc in the distortion. That shit's
Mhm.
OP. um, I don't know what my 3 favorite are.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can name 3. I for sure in any fantasy games like I always like playing beefier like bruiser characters.
Yeah,
So like I mean if you think of what we were talking about with Swain, I like being in the middle of a fight and just like either soaking damage or dealing the damage and just not dying. I like that. I like being up front. I like tanks, I guess.
I usually play someone range who's further out, but I usually go for a more supportive role in most games too. Like that off damage support style, I think is usually what I tend to go for, which is why I like playing Swain in the bot lane and other champions like Zyra and whatnot. But I don't necessarily like playing all the mid laners down bot as a support. It's a very weird. I don't know if I call it a concept, but a very weird thing when you're playing full damage champions as a support like Xerath.
I do like I love glass cannons. Like if you're playing GP and you're like
Oh
late
yeah,
game full items and you pop someone with just one barrel, that's very satisfying.
Lux who gets the Q ulti pop.
Yep, that's satisfying. So like burst, like no, I don't want to say it's
Yeah,
just
it's
the
called
one
glass cannon.
shots.
Yeah, one shotters. Yeah.
Anybody's gonna one shot you is really satisfying.
Rengar, if he gets his 5 bone tooth pieces really early on, just one shotting fools. Okay. And
And Squamado asked us, "Do you think Trinity Force could be viable on Graves, especially in top lane where there is higher gold income to afford it?"
that's better left for you. I'm not much of a Graves player. Um, I don't know how long it takes for Trinity Force to stack. Could you possibly lose it while reloading? Would you have
No,
to slide?
I think it's 3-4 seconds. The stacks you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd be fine. I just don't like.
It's not terrible. I mean, he could
It's
use
not
Sheen.
terrible, but I think
I think the other marksman
great
items are better.
Graves is a burst champion.
Yeah,
You want to, and Trinity Force is a good item, but it's too
extended.
is that yeah, like it encompasses too many things, whereas like lethality Graves is just like I'm gonna one shot you.
Especially with Eclipse and the way that Eclipse works, getting the extra burst damage on the second hit.
Yeah, I think because Graves is, I mean, I guess I could see it both ways. I think Trinity Force is too expensive for him anyways. Like if there's items like Umbral Glaive that's lethality and it's cheap as fuck,
Yeah.
and you could just buy that immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're farming top lane and getting plates, you could do it. I just think Trinity Force would just not be that much damage for a champion like that.
Yeah, I think the only way you would do it is if you are doing top lane with Hullbreaker Graves, but as we're gonna find out in this patch, you're probably not gonna be doing that anymore. Yeah, it's the only thing I can think of is if you're doing Hullbreaker on Graves, because you do get the extra damage and the stacking damage does work on turrets from Triforce. So that's the only way I probably find it viable, but you'd have to commit to split pushing. And I think that commitment worked really well when people were playing Janna top, and I think it falls off. Or I think it's fallen off.
I mean, I'll fucking try it. I don't give
Yeah.
a shit. I'll try it.
Yeah, fuck
I'll give it a shot and I'll report back.
it. Well, cool. I guess that answers all the questions and the polls, and
Yeah.
we're about
Thanks,
20
guys. That
minutes
was
in,
awesome.
so I think it's time for a quick little break.
This is gonna be a long episode, guys. So thanks for hanging in there.
Yeah, there's a lot. It doesn't look like a lot, but there's a lot on this patch.
There's a lot.
I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nerfs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buffs, 3 adjustments, and I'm assuming that's a Hullbreaker nerf. It just has it under systems. Doesn't say one way or the other. We did go over Olaf and Talia, so we can skip those two.
Yeah.
If you guys want to know more about them, please refer to episode 50 from last week, where we talk about them in depth. And those numbers, I believe, were pretty much solidified there. They may have changed just a tick one way or the other. Not enough to be significant that we feel like we have to really go over that again. So we'll skip those.
You want to give EG an honorable mention today?
I was going to say, yes, I can.
Not much.
Yeah, unfortunately, and spoilers for those who haven't watched MSI, but by the time this episode comes out, you've probably seen this game or know the results. EG did lose to G2. They picked actually a very good comp, and then G2 said, we'll just play a Nivea. And that fucked the entire thing. That one Anivia pick fucked the entire comp from EG. And I don't think they even had thought about Anivia being a problem because nobody's playing that champion. And so I thought that was very genius by G2 to actually pick it and say, oh, I see what you're doing. Here's an Anivia. Deal with that.
From a lot of the highlights, there are a lot of champions being played.
Yep.
A lot of... I mean, we saw Vi. I saw Wukong. Wukong's going to get played a lot.
Yep.
I think Broken Blade played Fiora. There was Karthus is getting picked up again because of those changes.
Yep, Karthus jungle.
It feels pretty good. NA is just taking a shit right now, but it's only been one game.
Right.
We're playing 2 tomorrow.
Right.
We got to play G2 again, but whatever. We're probably going to lose. It's okay. Guys, we're in a group with only 3 teams.
Yes.
So the chances of us getting out are very high.
Right.
But there is a possibility that we don't.
Well, and they play more than 2 round robins too. They have to play, I think, an extra game. There's a quadruple.
Quadruple round robin. Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, whoever makes it out will definitively be the better team. I think when you play that many games, it's a lot. It makes a lot more sense. Like the 2 teams that get out, you're like, okay, they deserve it. They're definitively better because you're playing so many more games against the same people. So, I guess without further ado, let's hit the patch.
Patch 12.9.
Um,
So, first off, right off the bat, they're introducing challenges.
Yep.
Now, who wants to take a fucking bet that this is going to destroy the client?
Oh, I'm sure it's probably already has.
I haven't. I mean, we don't really need to go over it. There's so many, and there's a full rundown they have linked here. So guys, go read that. They're just adding in extra unique challenges and like flares and stuff to show off on your borders. It's cool.
If you follow Riot on any social media, or I guess League, not necessarily Riot, but if you follow any of the League accounts on any social media, you've probably come across these popping up. You've probably already clicked the link that's attached to it just to read what it is. I haven't read it, but I know it's more of a flare thing than anything. So, it doesn't have much to do with the game.
Hoping this isn't like
Eternals.
Eternals.
I think this is supposed to be similar but better.
I don't want this shit popping up on my screen like, oh, the enemy Jax auto attacked 4 times.
That shit's so fucking dumb.
Don't want to see that. Even when you mute that animation,
Yep.
It still pops up at the bottom. Like, it's fucking annoying.
Yeah, I wish I could get rid of that.
So yeah, guys, go read those. Rest in peace, clients. It's gonna be bad. So yeah, Olaf. One thing I did see, and just to go through this, they got rid of the armor shred on the Q.
Oh, did they? No.
Wait, did they? Hold on. Maybe they didn't, because I was reading on Reddit that someone.
No, it's still on there. It says now
You're
shreds
right.
20 to 30% armor, 4 seconds when hitting enemy champion.
Some moron on Reddit said it was removed.
Well, some
before I
moron
even
on
read
Reddit's
these
a
notes.
moron, so.
What the fuck? Interesting. Weird. Okay.
That's
I'm
okay.
just going through really quick to see if they.
Nothing obvious.
Oh, there you go. W changed the name.
Oh, tough it out. Okay, all right.
I'm not sure about
That's
that
a
one.
boring ass name. Wow.
Ooh, that is not
Riot.
good.
Okay, I'm just gonna scroll past that one.
Tough it out.
Yeah, that was bad. Um, let's see. Talia had a couple notable bug fixes. She would sometimes lose her passive permanently when special is active. We talked about that. And would sometimes not get reduced cooldown when casting Threaded Volley on work ground. I think we talked about that as well. So, those are the first two. I don't see anything else different on here, so I guess we could just go right down to the next one. That's Ari.
So we know Ari's been since that, like, I can't remember what patch it was, but when she got those changes to her ult and her
3 or 4
Q
patches
and
ago,
her
yeah.
passive, it's pretty OP. She's
Right.
pretty strong.
She is really strong. I even played a game of Ari and I was like, wow, I actually feel like I can play mid lane.
So Charm cooldown is getting increased by 2 seconds from 12 to 14. Okay. And then Spirit Rush is also getting a cooldown increase by 10 seconds.
at all ranks.
10 seconds. That'll probably
Helpful.
I don't think it's gonna be enough.
No, but helpful to bring her down and how fast she can use some of her skills. Brahm, this is someone I haven't seen in the patch notes in a while. Passive cooldown decreased late. The E damage reduction increased. So they want you to play Brahm. So currently, his concussive blows go from 876. I believe that's at 6, 11, and 16.
Yeah, I wish it would tell me.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you, but I think it's 6, 11, and 16 because there's only 3 of them. It now goes, and these are on the per target. So if you play Brahm, when you pop your passive on a target, they can't receive it again for 8, 7, 6 seconds. It's going to go down to 8, 6, and 4. But if you hit another target, they don't have a cooldown on them. So later in the game, they're trying to make him more useful because he kind of falls off because he just becomes a tank later in the game. He's tank, block a skill shot, and ulti. Yeah, that's about all you get out of him.
Yeah, I wish you would tell me because it's probably not 6-11 because he starts the game with his passive at 8
That's
seconds.
true.
So it's probably
One,
maybe it's like
6,
6 and 11
or 111.
I don't know. Yeah,
1, 9,
right.
1, 9, 13, 1, 9, 16 maybe.
Yeah, just either way, late game Braum is a little bit better.
Yeah,
and you're gonna be tagging people more often.
Yeah, and then Unbreakable, that's the E. It was 30 to 40% damage reduction. It's going to go to 35 to 55% damage reduction on that E.
Big.
So that's pretty big. I mean, that's like the bread and butter skill at the end of the game, like I was saying just a few seconds ago. So cool. A little bit of Braum buffs. I like playing Braum.
Moving down to Hecarim, which is kind of scary.
Just one thought about Braum. I wonder if they did that to entice people to pick Braum if people are picking Ornn, maybe. Because he's got that great counter with blocking the Ram. Yeah. But all right, back to Hecarim.
This is kind of scary because this champion was like king of the jungle last year. And yeah, so Q damage is getting increased. It's just the bonus AD is going up by 5%. Okay. And then the W, Spirit of the Dread. I did not know that's what it was called. Okay. Cooldown is getting decreased by 4 seconds, 18 to 14 seconds. Big, because this is the third ability you level up.
Yep.
So you're going to feel that right away, and your jungle clear and sustain is going to be fucking nuts.
Yeah, and I remember we were seeing a lot of Hecarim lately, and he was still pretty insane. So I think low elo is going to see a big spike in this champion. It might be ban-worthy.
Maybe. No, yeah, this is big. I mean, anytime you have extra sustain buffs, it's big.
Especially because they just have been absolutely shellacking sustain across the board, so. Cool. Master Yi,
Who's your boy?
R bonus attack speed reduced. I'd like to give a round of applause to all of us that don't have to deal with this little asshole.
We've been seeing a lot of Yi.
I know, that's what I'm saying. His bonus.
There's a lot of.
They're reducing that DPS. He's gonna lose So it's going to be the same at level 1. At level 2, you're going to lose 10%. At level 3, you're going to lose 20% of that bonus attack speed. So that actually does scale pretty hard, although I don't know how much it's going to matter because I feel like he starts getting to the limit around level 2. So
Right.
it may not make much of a difference, but hopefully it's enough. It brings that mid game down for him, so he shouldn't be able to just run over a game if he starts getting fed. He probably has to get to level 16 to try to run over a game. So we got that going for us, guys.
Moving down to Nidalee.
Yep.
Straight and forward. Base health reduced.
By 30. Yeah,
30.
Nothing crazy.
Hey, this must be high elo. It's nerf.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. What is the little
There's a
graphic?
Diamond. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's high elo.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah,
it's not pro, just high elo.
yeah. I mean, I feel like she's a high skill cap.
Oh, she definitely is if you want to play her well. It's very easy to be bad at her. It's not necessarily easy to be really good with her. Like, you can be good with her, but being really good with her where she actually takes over a game is tough. For low elo.
Right, so we're moving down. Oh, here we go.
Michael Thompson.
This one's
Okay.
good for you.
Michael Thompson's getting a lot here. So the overview says the passive gray health conversion is increased. The Q mana cost is increased. The mana refund is increased. And now refunds mana upon hitting an enemy champion. Okay. The ulti cooldown is decreased. And the your cut opportunities are reduced. So let's start with the passive. The passive that converts damage to gray health when near 2 or more enemies was 40% plus 0.5% per lethality is now 45% plus 0.5% lethality. So you're getting a 5% boost. That's astronomical. The Bone Skewer. The Bone App the Teeth. All right. Bone Skewer now refunds mana upon hitting an enemy champion. That mana refund, before it was, I think if you just held it and you didn't actually fire it out, you get a 50% refund. You now get a 75% refund, which means throw it out, hit a champion, or don't throw it and get 75% mana refund. But the cost is going up. It was 50 to 70. It's now 74 to 90. That's pretty big because he has a shit tier mana pool to start the game.
Right, and you're not going to be building mana
No.
on this dude.
No, please don't build Fimbulwinter or Man Immune. Just don't do it. Okay, the ulti, Death from Below, is getting a cooldown buff. From 120 to 80 is now going to be 100 to 70. Removed. Pyke no longer receives your cut gold upon successfully executing enemy champions with his R. Last assisting ally will still receive your cut. Also removed, BOGO is a no-go. Pyke no longer receives additional your cut gold when allies kill enemies within Death from Below's execution area. That fucking sucks. Because you know how many times that happens? Pyke goes in to kill, and then someone actually gets like a Kraken Slayer proc or whatever, and blows up the enemy as you come down. Good news is, I guess, you still keep your reset, though.
Right, as long as they're dying in the animation of the X.
Yep.
The first one, the your cut, he no longer receives that gold is pretty big.
Right. Well, I think it was pretty broken, the fact that he would get the kill gold and the cut gold. And so it's like, no, if you get the kill, you just get the kill gold, and then you donate a cut to somebody else.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be hit. I mean, they could have nerfed the gold, but yeah, I guess it's whatever.
I mean, this is one of the champions when he takes off and he gets like 5 or 6 kills with the ulti. He gets full build really fucking quickly because all of his items are cheap as shit. So I don't think it's the worst idea to make gold a little bit less attainable for him.
Alright, moving down to Renata Glask. Base armor decrease, passive damage decrease. I've been hearing that she's just broken with her. I've never looked into her like actual damage numbers, but
she doesn't do that much damage.
I mean, she does max percent damage, right?
Something like yeah, something like that. Go ahead.
So let's see. Base armor is getting dropped by 2 from 29 to 27.
She already has shit for armor, so.
Right. So let's see. Her additional magic damage when Renata Glask marks a target. It originally was 1 to 3.5 between levels 1 through 13, plus 1% per 100 AP. It is changing to 1 to 2% levels 1 through 9, but it's also going up 2% per AP. So it seems like they want you to build AP
Yep.
on her. Okay.
Yep.
Additional damage against mark targets. That was it's the same thing. It looks
Yeah,
like
it looks like the same thing. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
So so the way that it works is when she auto attacks, she marks a target and she does this damage, and then either she can pop it or I think an ally can pop it, and
another ability or an auto attack.
just an auto attack, and they take that same damage again. It's usually not much. For example, at level 1 when you're hitting red buff, I think you get 13 extra damage. So it's not it's really not a lot, but you're gonna have to build AP if you want more damage on that. And
Is there a cooldown on that, or is it just
No.
every auto attack?
No, you just have to hit the same target. If you hit another target, it resets it.
I was gonna say, I think what I was getting at is like, if you have like a Renata and then another high attack speed, or just you melt Baron with these anything that has like percent max HP, like
Yeah.
3.5%. Granted, it's how often you think you're gonna get to level 13 as a
Right.
support, but
Right.
I mean, you're dealing. I don't know how much HP does Baron spawn
I
with.
have no fucking clue.
I mean, but whenever you're doing a percentage of that, that's a lot of damage, and it's constant, and it's doubled, right? It's doubled. You auto attack once, you do the max, and then your ally auto attacks, and it repeats. So it's a lot.
Right. Let me see if I can find his health pool.
Whatever it is at 20. I mean, just it's you melt. It's very what's the word? It's surprising.
He
feel like it
starts
could catch
with
people off.
9,000 health, by the way.
Okay, so let's see. 2% of 9,000.
It's 18. 180.
180. So you're doing 180 damage. We'll say every second if you have someone on your team. I don't know how much attack speed. But
Yes, it depends on how fast her attack speed is. It's pretty slow.
I guess you could double it just because you get it once when you
Right.
auto attack and then once again with your
Right.
ally.
Right.
So 360 damage every second, maybe let's just call it. That's a lot. You're gonna be shitting objectives like that. So they want to make
Absolutely.
sure either you commit to building AP or you're just not going to do damage, which is
Right.
fine. I
Right.
don't think damage was an issue with her.
No,
I think it's-
she's a utility.
that ulti is
Yep.
fucking gross.
It's the ulti and it's the Q. Obviously it's the W, but
W.
like for real big utility things, it's the ulti and the Q, and then the W is that savior mechanic. If it works, if you get it, you only get 2 seconds. That's the one thing that's weird is when I see people play Renata, and then they revive with the W, is they just stop attacking. It's like, but
They
no,
probably don't
no.
expect it.
Right. It's like, no, you need to continue attacking, dude. If you want to try to stay alive, you need to continue attacking. Don't stop. All right, let's move down to old Renekton the Croc. Health and AD growth increased. The W base damage increased. The cooldown increased early and decreased late. And the R base damage increased. Do you think it's time to start playing the Croc? Let's see. His health growth was 92 per level. It's now going to be 97 per level. His AD growth was 3 3/4 per level. It's now 4.15 AD per level, which means his AD at level 18 is going to go up by roughly 7.
Okay.
That's like later. That's actually important for him just because he kind of has shit stats late in the game if he's not ahead. W, which is Ruthless Predator. The cooldown was 13 to 9. It's going to go up. This is going to be 16 at level 1, but it's going to drop to 8 over time. I don't know how you build him, but I think this is the first max skill.
No, you max your Q. You do Q, E, and then W.
Okay. So yeah, this is definitely going to hurt.
Always third.
Definitely going to hurt. But with the higher cooldown also comes more damage. So at level 1, you're just going to feel the cooldown difference because they're not changing any of the damages at level 1. They don't start scaling upward until level 2. So you look at the total physical damage it was 10 to 90 with a 75% AD ratio. It's now 10 to 130 with a 75% AD ratio. And when it's empowered, it was 15 to 135. It's now going to be 15 to 195. Both of those have a 75% AD ratio. So they definitely give you more damage, and they're trying to help you out a little bit later.
Maybe this is going to incentivize
Maybe.
maxing this second.
Yeah, E's the dash, right? The slice and dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this will, because this is the W's the stun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then the empowered one is like, it's like 2 auto attacks, and the empowered one is 3 auto attacks.
Jeez.
And that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it is, especially if it's that. Jeez.
Yeah.
And then the ulti Dominus, which I feel like I always want to call it Indominus. I don't know why. It's like a mental block in my head that Dominus doesn't make sense. Yeah, exactly. I don't even care for that movie, but yeah. The magic damage per second is going up, so it was 40 to 120 with the 10% AP ratio. The AP ratio is just for Baron, and it's gonna go from to 50 to 150 with that same 10% AP ratio. So when you get Baron, I think it only gives you like an extra 2 damage because it gives you, I think, 20 AP. So not much. You're just seeing it in the base damages, and that's just to help him out a little bit when he's getting ganked or ganking people. Obviously, looks like they're trying to scale him a little bit more towards late game, so he doesn't fall off so hard.
He needs help.
Renekton is still currently seen as the redheaded stepchild of pro players, thanks to LS. So maybe this changes how people are going to start thinking about him in the next split. Who knows?
Let's move on down to Rengar.
Rangity
W
dangity.
damage against monsters decreased. Okay. Base damage damage to monsters is getting changed from 85 to 150, levels 1 through 18, to 65 to 130.
I don't think it's too bad.
I don't see.
You don't really use it in the jungle either. Yeah, you're right. We haven't really seen. I think we've seen a total of like, since they've reworked him, like a total of 5 times. I think we've seen him.
Yeah, I don't really see him that often.
And I still think he's fucking strong. Like, that rework really did a number on the damage in his kit. So I'm surprised people aren't playing him as often. But if he's due for a nerf, that means he's stronger than they expected. So
well, let's take a look. Where's the nerf coming to? Skilled plat to diamond. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, people apparently in low elo just either don't know how to play him or don't like to play him or something. I don't know, but Rengar is I think, in my opinion, he's a good champion. In the jungle, he's actually a top tier, like an S tier jungler, and that's platinum plus. If I look at like gold, which is kind of where we're at, let's see.
Fixed a bug where Rengar's empowered abilities in W Battle Roar heal would sometimes play through the Flock Vor. Oh, so he could be seen. That's pretty annoying.
In gold, he's like a B to C tier jungler. Ooh. I guess the Volibear and the Rammus are pretty big counters to him there. Okay. Fair enough.
Alrighty, let's got with Shyvana.
Oh, this one. We were just talking about her. The old dragon lady who does one thing. She's getting her W damage tick rate decreased. We're introducing some small quality of life changes and a batch of bug fixes to help fan Shyvana's flames. So the burnout, the damage tick rate was every 1 second. It's now going to tick every half second, which means it's going to tick twice as much. I'm sure the total amount of damage is going to overall be the same, so per tick is likely to change with that. And I don't know why they didn't actually list it here, because usually they do list it when they change the tick rates. The E Flame Breath is, let's see, is it the area of effect zone from Shyvana's E now applies marks to enemies hit that enter the zone. Okay, so that'll be very interesting. I think those marks, they speed her up, or does she get extra damage with them? I don't remember how the
with
E marks work.
They you deal extra damage, like 2.5% max HP.
Health. Okay, so there you go. That's a thing. They're trying to tell you, hey, get in there and auto attack people, because she's not just a AP bot, but she's an AP bot. So don't listen to Riot. They're lying to you.
Now, these bug fixes were interesting too. I think I briefly looked at them for her Q and W.
Yeah, I see a couple things for Twin Bite. It wouldn't work on player-created targets like mushrooms or tentacles. I wouldn't do it twice, so it only would attack once. It should attack twice. That's why it's called Twin Bite. So they fixed that, and then says the second attack will not deal damage if the enemy was running away from her.
Wow, that's big.
That's a really big bug. It was probably pretty minute because I hadn't heard of that and I hadn't seen that anywhere. So it probably was like very specific
'cause
circumstances.
I was gonna say no one's playing like auto attack Shyvana, so they
That's
probably...
true. That's true. But yeah, there's not much else to say there. So tell me what's going on with the next guy.
Scion. Undead Scion's passive damage against structures reduced. Scion now does 60% reduced damage to structures while he is reanimated frenzy form, including runes and items.
That's so fucking important. They just wiped this champion off the map. This yeah, what the fuck? Holy shit. They just said we don't want to see this champion anymore.
Because, like, how many times? Yeah, it's the whole ending Scion. Like,
Yeah.
Scion can just sit in a lane, push. He'll die 400 times, doesn't matter. And then, how many times you've been, like, as Sion's been at your, like, inhibitor turrets, he gets the turret.
Yep.
And then he dies, and he just runs at the neck, or at the inhibitor itself, and then he just one-shots it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fucking annoying.
That's actually, wow. Wow.
That's pretty big.
Okay. So now that Sion's effectively been pushed off the map, we can move down to Thresh, who is definitely in need of a buff, dude. This champion, surprisingly, and I played him a couple times just this past week, and I've always said this champion's never irrelevant, and this champion made a liar out of me because he was absolutely irrelevant. Players at low levels still don't know what to do when there's a lantern out there. I will never understand why they don't just fucking pick up the lantern. The items currently aren't that great for him. Tried Even Shroud. I felt like I didn't get anything. Really didn't get much off of Even Shroud. I've tried Locket, which is obviously the shielding one. It's okay, but Thresh actually himself, as sort of an off tank, has felt more off than tank, if that makes any sort of sense.
No, for sure.
So I like what they're doing here by increasing his passive AP and bonus armor per soul. And this is what he's been needing for so long. I don't know how many people know, how many of you guys know this, but he was only getting 3/4 of a point of armor and AP per soul collected. He's now going to get the full point. So you get 1 soul, 1 armor. I always wondered, and I figured it was just because it was too strong to give him 1 each time. But the amount of times that he can actually walk up and go collect all the souls now is, I think, a lot less than it used to be. So he definitely needed a buff to get that up. They're also increasing the W shield strength scaling with the souls. So it's still the same in base, 60 to 100. But you used to get +1 per soul collected. Now you're going to get +2 per soul collected. Which actually is significant because 50 is a rather low number of souls to have on Thresh. And that's an extra 100 on your shield. So I think that's actually rather significant. You almost can double your shield at max level. Just maybe 25 minutes into the game. When it really fucking matters, you know?
Nice. Hopefully...
that should push him back up. It may not totally put him into relevance, but it should help lift him up a little bit.
Right. Varus. Passive attack speed gained on minion and champion kills increase. Magic damage on hit increase. This is your boy. You've been playing a lot of Varus.
Dude, you know what? I think Varus is a sleeper right now. Before these nerfs, I think a lot of people forgot about Varus. And when I see Caitlyn and Jhin on the map, because they're so long range, is usually when I pick Varus. I don't want to play Varus into like a Vayne or a Lucian because you're going to get shit on and you're not going to hit your ulti. But like a Caitlyn or a Jhin, you may not hit your ulti on them, but you can match their range. And I think that's what's important. And I know that his poke build was okay with Eclipse, but I actually had more fun playing a lethal tempo build. So it's nice to see them giving him more damage and more attack speed, because I found that those builds were just better.
So the bonus attack speed on non-champion kills is getting the bonus attack speed scaling of it is getting increased by 5%, 15 to 20.
Let's go.
And then the bonus attack speed on champion kills is getting increased by 10%. So it is going from 30% bonus attack speed to 40% bonus attack speed.
Let's go. There's
see it.
That mechanic, I think a lot of people don't play to that mechanic very well. But if you're an ADC player, you probably aren't going to be at the very initial part of a team fight, right when things start popping off, right when the two frontliners engage. You're probably not going to be right there. It does behoove you to see if you can get a minion or two or a unit or two kill and then walk up to that team fight with that much faster attack speed. It makes a hell of a fucking difference. Or if you're in a team fight that's in the lane trying to kill a couple minions in the middle of that team fight, whether it's using your Q to get that, just to get those extra attacks in, because it scales pretty fucking hard post level 6. It really starts ramping up pretty quickly. So that's a mechanic people, I think, often ignore.
No, you said it kind of sleeping on him.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I think people slept on him in general. So think about that, guys. I think this champion's really fucking strong right now, and he's getting a buff, so you should be playing him.
And then on top of that, the W Blighted Quiver, the passive damage, the on hit damage is getting increased late.
Yes.
You're gonna get an extra 6 base damage late.
Yep. So that's also really nice too, because this is a champion that does build Wit's End. So you're just stacking more on hit damage. And you crazy things, you could have all that and you don't even have to, you could still play Crit Varus with all that on hit damage and not be losing out on anything. But
all right,
that's it for champions.
That does it for champions.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to Hullbreaker.
Yeah, you got to go over this one because you're the Hullbreaker guy.
So, all right. Right before this, I went on PvE just to try some stuff out because I had heard about what they're doing. I haven't actually read exactly what it is, but let's see really quick. So, champion bonus resist while hunting alone, melee is getting an increase. Okay. Oh, no, wait. Okay, this is fucking interesting. So they're changing the way how this scales.
Yes.
So prior it was 20 to 60 levels 1 through 18. Now this is so fucking weird. Until level 10, or you're only going to get 10 resistances levels 1 through 11. So if you rush this item, you are not getting jack shit.
Right.
But after 12 to 18, the resistances are going to go up and be higher than they were prior. So at level 18, it's going to be 75 bonus resistances, which is a fucking lot.
I really like this.
Champion bonus attack speed, bonus resistance while hunting alone as a ranged is, let's see, does it look like it's going to be halved? Yeah, it looks like it's halved.
Yeah, I think
just
so.
About close enough. So it's 5 from levels 1 to 11, and then
it's exactly in half. Yeah.
So you're getting half. So at level 18, it's gonna be 37.5 resistances. And then finally, sturdier hulls. The bonus damage you get to structures is getting changed from 20% bonus damage from all sources against structures to only attacks. Now, this is what I was confused about because people were talking about there's a handful of champions that have like interactions. Like I think someone brought up like Yorick's ghouls. They can attack turrets. That's not going to do that anymore. The one thing I was curious about are on hit effects like Sheen. So what I did is I went on PBE.
Yeah.
And I picked Yorick, and I don't know if some champions, because he has an auto attack reset, right? His Q is an enhanced auto attack. When I queued a turret and I had Hullbreaker, all I had was Hullbreaker, and I queued a turret, I did not get the bonus damage to turrets. It did not register.
So maybe you're only getting it on just the attack and not on the Sheen proc.
I didn't have a Sheen.
Oh.
I didn't even have a Sheen.
Oh, okay.
So I'm assuming
yes,
Yorick's Q is coded as an ability and not an attack.
Just like Trundle. Yeah. Yeah.
But I went and I picked Nasus. Nasus's Q works.
Huh.
It's very confusing because, and then I did try Sheen and I couldn't. I'm gonna have to play games of this to figure this out. But it's a nerf. Of course, it's a nerf.
Yeah. To
the damage, because like if you did pick a Yorick, Rush Trinity Force, and Hullbreaker, you're just one-shotting turrets in like 2 seconds.
Well, see, the way I'm really picking it up too is like Scion bashes into your turret with his ulti, he's not going to get the bonus damage. Rammus uses ulti right next to the turret. He's not going to get the bonus damage if he decides to build Hullbreaker for some ungodly reason. If Rammus is playing Hullbreaker Rammus, don't know why, but my point is those abilities that do damage like that aren't going to be getting the bonus damage, but the basic attacks for sure should be.
I mean, it's still a nerf because
It's still a nerf, and I like it, and I like some of the things they're doing here. I don't know about this. This last part is definitely like a much bigger nerf, but I like the idea of saying, "Hey, let's shift some of the damage here. Let's make it, 1 through 11. You're not really getting a whole lot of bonuses for building Hullbreaker." And the reason I like this is because by level 11, you should have a pretty damn good identity of how you're gonna play the game. Are you gonna need a split push, or are you gonna not need a split push? Is it worth buying Hullbreaker? There's so many champions right now that just fucking build the item because they're up there and they can build it, and it's relatively cheap in comparison for what you're getting. Like it's good gold efficiency, especially if you're in top lane and you don't have anybody coming anyways. So I think that's very. It's good to say, hey, you're not locked into this 1v1 top lane where they build Hullbreaker. Like, let's open up the top lane so people can roam. And then if they decide later that they want to play split push or turret destroyer, then, they can buy the item and it does a lot more for them later in the game. You could even think of it like a backdoor item, you know what I mean?
And I mean, this is also directly connected to Scion.
Yes,
these changes.
They literally, this patch is the death to Scion patch. Like, without a shadow of a doubt, that champion should not be played anymore once this patch drops.
Yeah, I mean, sure, because people, I mean, if you watch the Baus, he does full lethality Scion
Right.
and just, yeah, so.
He might still play it. Yeah, I think that's going to be the only real viable build. Like, you can't build Hullbreaker on him anymore. It's not really worth it. But
yeah, because I mean, I guess
none of it's really worth it.
He's still a good tank, but like,
yeah, but you're gonna open.
Was his thing.
I think you're opening the door to more Maokai's or
that champion doesn't exist.
Or Ornns,
Good.
Malphites. You kind of start to bring in. I mean, obviously Yorick was one of them. Urgot's one of them that you could play up there. Mordekaiser are obviously, but those aren't. I mean, aside from Yorick, the other ones don't use Hullbreaker. So I think it widens the champion pool is what I'm getting at. Definitely allows. I won't be surprised if you see more Irelias and more Fioras, because they're the ones that typically like to. They're the fighters that like to play against the bruisers because they can pump out more damage, a lot faster than the bruisers can, and they have ways to avoid taking damage. So I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing more of those fighters on the top side now that Hullbreaker's kind of out of the picture.
Yeah, and it's going to give people a chance to fight champions if they still decide to rush Hullbreaker. It's not going to be that return after buying it is not going to be that great prior level 12. So
right.
That is it for items, just one items.
Yeah, there's MSI Clash. Don't really need to go over that because it just matters if you're doing premium tickets. The client update. We have removed the self-repair button from the League of Legends client settings menu as it was a redundant feature. Client self-repair can still be accessed through the Riot Games client settings menu. Okay, no one cares.
Trying to see if there's anything interesting with
Swain's old ability descriptions were displaying in the champion's details page. Swain could reactivate his E to pull enemies even if they had cleansed the root.
Here's a crazy one. Gang playing Cannon Barrage, if you had Raise Morale upgraded, it would cancel your allies' auto attacks.
Wow.
It could. That's pretty insane.
Yeah. Backstab was sometimes audible to the enemy team from the Fog of War. Weird.
Same thing with Aphelios swapping guns in Fog of War.
Oh, man. Maybe I'll save it. Let's talk about pings, but maybe I'll save it because it's not in this bug list here. I'll save it. I'll save it.
Then we got our High Noon skins.
Yeah.
And the EDG skins.
Yep.
So looking
the cool. EDG skins actually I think look pretty cool. They're I like that these EDG skins are more akin to the base skins that already exist, as opposed to being so extravagant. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like they should look very similar to how the champion is, like, but not so different that they're like the regular skins. They may be a little bit more unrecognizable. You know what I mean? These should just be like a flare, I think, in my opinion.
The best one, the Yumi skin, is so good
It
because
is
it's based off his cat.
It looks so good. And I mean, the Graves one is really the only one that is Graves, right? It's the only one that's really kind of unrecognizable. But Zoe looks good. Viego looks like Viego. I mean, the Aphelios one looks pretty solid. I'd like that they change his hair, but he is recognizably Aphelios. The only one, like I said, that's kind of unrecognizable is Graves. But beyond that, I think they look really, really good. And the chromas actually look really good. I like the chromas a lot. The Graves chroma actually looks more like Graves than the actual skin does.
Right.
But yeah, I don't have anything else there, guys.
I guess we can also say like if you call it an announcement, but starting next week we're gonna be introducing a third episode.
Short episode, no questions, no polls.
It's gonna be a 10 to 15-minute episode. We're gonna try to release on Mondays about our just anything that's been
gripes or
either we're annoying
things.
us, or anything we want to praise that's been happening in our game specifically.
Yep.
Or just anything we want to get off our chests and just kind of home in on just that subject for a quick 10 to 15-minute episode. And
right, we don't feel that it's right to make a super long episode and have you guys
right, we don't
like
have
to
to
stick around to listen.
Like, this is a long episode. We imagine if we talked about what we want to talk about at the beginning of this, it would have been much longer. So get excited for that. I had an idea for a poll for this episode. Are you guys excited for the league show? Was it called Players?
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Good call.
If you guys, if you've seen the trailer, if not, go watch it. It's a parody of a LCS team called Team Fugitive,
Following Cream Cheese
and Piss Jar, right? PJ Piss Jar. It looks. I am skeptical, but I saw a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's a story of TSM." Got it? Like,
yeah, basically, right?
The only downside is it's coming out on Paramount Plus, and ain't no one gonna fucking sign up for that.
Unless you already have it. For those of you that already have it, congratulations.
Yeah. I heard Halo show was terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I never
terrible.
really cared about Halo, so it doesn't mean shit to me.
So yeah, for the poll, are you guys excited for that? And any ideas for a question?
Yeah, I was trying to think of something that formulated around Hullbreaker, because I feel like that's really of all the changes in this patch, I feel like the top lane changes are the ones that actually mean something. There's only one ADC change, that's Varus. That's just trying to introduce another champion to the pool. You have your Pyke changes. Obviously, you have your Olaf and Talia changes. And you have 4 support changes, 1 nerf, 1 adjustment, and 2 buffs. Then you have Master Yi, who's a jungler, but can play topside. Nidalee is obviously a jungler. Ari is one of those, if they are playing a weird thing, you can flex her top. You normally wouldn't. She's mid laner through and through, but some people would like to take mid laner's top. She can contend. Obviously, Sion gets a fat nerf. Renekton gets a nice buff. And Hullbreaker, I feel like this is like a top-centric patch. And I'd be curious to know your thoughts on the state of the top lane. I mean,
yeah, what are you guys playing top lane?
You have your champions like Swain right now that are up there that are performing decently well. Obviously, Sion just got the boot with this patch. They just said, don't play this fucking champion. Rengar top is a thing, and he just got a little bit of a nerf, but that's only to the jungle, so you might see him top. Yeah, so what do you guys think about the state of the top lane? What are your thoughts? What do you want to see?
We'll take it a little bit further. Why don't we just say, let's ask, I want to know what people are playing, and I mean, not everyone is the top laner.
Right.
what's this? Let us know what you're playing and like how that's going for you. Are you guys sticking to one style? Like, I'm sure there's split pusher players out there, and this is gonna hit them.
Yep.
So let us know, what are you playing, what play styles you playing, and how is that going for you overall?
I like that. I like it.
Well, guys, as always, go ahead and rate our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, leave reviews. We haven't gotten a new one in a while, but that's okay. Send us voice submissions on Anchor. Message us. Join our Discord. It is in the link tree.
It
That is
is.
posted in every single bio. And
Tell your friends.
yeah, tell your friends, guys.
That's
and
it.
we're
Tell your friends.
you know we're trying to grow. So until Friday, we are. I can't remember who we're talking about, but stay tuned. And
Friday is a triple threat episode.
oh, that's right. Oh, that's gonna be a good one.
So it's the last 3 of the original champions. So
and then also we still have the idea that was suggested to do the original 20 champion draft. I think we
Yes.
could probably do that next week.
Yes, we'll do it
for the-
after we'll do it after we do the triple threat episode, because I think that's going to be long and I don't want to clog
Right.
it up by putting in a draft episode that can be an extra or a dead week, because
Yeah.
next week's kind of a dead week because there's no patch episode.
So yeah, get excited for the Monday episode, and
Yes.
then we'll do the drafts on the Wednesday, and then so on and so forth. So guys, until Friday, have a great week.
Bye, guys.